he said he gonna be done wrong for the last time. It wasn't the last time, but that's what he said.
A liar in that moment. She was not.
Baby, because this book gonna give it to you.
To us, yeah. Yeah. So we are coming with a force, yeah. Blessings we are reaping, we coursing on foot.
What's up, Tater Tots? It's your girl Tati, back at another video. In this video, of course, we are doing a book swap with none other than the Ronald Savage. Make sure y'all follow him. And today we are doing this book, Before I Let You Go. And we have yet another claim to be the waiting to exhale of the 2000s. So we have another claim that we can review it and to see if it really is what they say it is.
Spoiler warning, just to let you know, we are talking all about this plot in this book. We got a lot to say on this. So, I mean, if you don't want to be spoiled, thanks for tuning up to this point, but feel free to go ahead and click off this video here. And if you decide you want to come back and see what we talked about after you get done reading the book, feel free.
All right, let's talk about ratings. You want to hear what I rated or you want to go? You go with your rating first. Go with your rating.
I gave this book a 4.
A 4, okay.
And let me explain. So when we read this book, keep in mind, we read this because it was making its claim, hey, I'm a male equivalent to waiting to exhale. So already we going into this like, it's already like got to prove itself against another book that didn't meet expectation, right? So I'm like, so reading it, I'm like, this is better. But as I'm reading it, it was seeming more like a 3. But then when I got done reading it, I was like, I really sat down and I thought about it. I was like, because I was between a 3 and a 4. I was like, what would I give this? And after I thought about it, I was like, did I enjoy reading the book? And I was like, yeah, I did. So I gave it a 4, but I also gave it a 4 because if you remember during that time we was reading Black Girls Must Die Exhausted for a book club.
Mm-hmm.
Remember I told you I started reading that book and went and read a whole other book?
This is the other book?
This was the other book.
Baby, because this book will give it to you.
Now, I want to say this. We will not accept any Black Girls Must Die Exhausted slander. She did what she could. We respect what she tried to do. Mm-hmm. It just didn't work for us. So what was your rating?
Now, guys, my rating was a 3. And you know what's crazy? This book was always a 3 for me, but it was like, I was just trying to decide if it was going to be the higher end of a 3 or a lower end of the 3. I'm still leaving it at a 3, but see, I'm going back and forth again. I'm going back and forth with, do I want it to be a high 3 or like just a plain 3? And it's because, how Ronald said, I enjoyed the book, right? I enjoyed the book. I don't know if you want me to get into that part of comparing it to Waiting to Exhale. Not really Waiting to Exhale, right? But as a male equivalent of Waiting to Exhale, y'all have seen what I gave male equivalents to Waiting to Exhale. So for a male equivalent to Waiting to Exhale too, I'm like, you're good. This is a good book. This is a book that I would read. It's solid. It's not like, it's not a 3 where it was like, oh, this is boring, this is bad or anything. Honestly, I probably would have gave it like a 3.5 or more, but there's just certain things of why I'm like, I know for sure it's a solid 3. I don't know where in the 3 range do I want to give it, because I will say, I like this book. And I'm gonna tell y'all what book it reminds me of as we go through.
Yeah, let's get into the actual stories.
The book starts off with Corey, and I actually kind of really liked Corey's character in the beginning. I did. I'm like, okay, Corey, what's going on? He got his little heart broken, and I thought Corey was gonna be a Nate in the book, beginning of the book. So when he didn't turn out to be like a Nate, it was like, okay, he got this weird love thing going on. I don't know what's going on with him, but he didn't become one of those. In the beginning, he didn't become one of those, oh, I got my heart broken, so I'm gonna break everybody else's heart. He didn't become a Nate. So I'm like, okay, cool. I like Brayden. I actually really liked, is it Brayden? That's his name, right? I like Brayden's character.
He was Brendan.
Huh?
It's Brendan.
Brendan, thank you. Because I'm like, let me tell y'all a tip that my teacher gave me that she probably shouldn't have gave me. She taught us when we were younger that if you don't know the name or if you see a name, you don't have to stop on it. If it's S, like Swarovski or something, and you can't pronounce Swarovski, you just whatever name, it's just Mr. S. And then throughout the rest of the paragraph, it's just Mr. S. So I swear, whatever I see, whatever I decide your name is, that's your name throughout the rest of the book. She gave it as that's a good test taking strategy. I'm not gonna lie. It's a great test taking strategy, but it's not good in the long run when you gotta remember names. Brendan, I like Brendan. He was adorable in the beginning, as well. And I was on the fence about Nate, but I just need to see how he was. So in the beginning, Corey, of course, we see Corey, he got his heart broken. And he's holding a little secret from his friends after he got his heart broken because he moved. They're all from DC. He moves from DC. He goes and he catches up with an old friend. Now, this old friend happens to be a professor. That's already drawing some lines for me. But that's none of my business, right? But then the old friend turns out to be married. And I just, it's like, and that's why he couldn't tell his friends. Because his friends, like, when you gonna get serious again? His last girlfriend, they were together like 3 years or more, great couple, all that type of stuff. Like, when you gonna settle down again? Because you're not that type of dude. You not seeing nobody, so when you gonna see somebody? Whole time he is in a long-term relationship with his ex-teacher that's married. I said, okay. Then Braden, he moved in with his roommate. I mean, with his best friend, because he didn't call his girlfriend cheating. I'm like, poor Braden. He have a what you call it moment. What's that girl name?
Bernadine.
Come on. He have
I
a
wrote that in my
moment.
notes.
He take everything out, throw everything out that he bought. He like, now this is out of control, okay? He said he gonna be done wrong for the last time. It wasn't the last time, but that's what he said. That's how he felt in his heart. So he go to his best friend's house, to live with his best friend, they are just best friends. That's all. And that kind of frustrates me a little bit because Braden is a typical good guy, a typical self-proclaimed good guy at that, right? The typical, why do people not treat me, right? But you won't get with your best friend that everybody knows is the best choice for you. I wonder why these things keep happening. And the crazy thing is, when he talked to his best friend, gives such solid advice. Like when she was talking to him, like, cause the girl keep calling him, his ex-girlfriend Trina keep calling him. She's like, bro, hang up, don't answer. Like she gives him such good woman advice, and he just continues to just decide he want to get his heart broken. So yeah. And then Nate does a whole breakdown. He ran down, gave us the game, and Nate gives me okay vibes. Where the story starts progressing is where they meet at a party. So while Corey is in Atlanta, not even in Atlanta at this point. I think he's at New York. He's on a trip to New York. While he's on this trip to New York, the other two guys who are in DC, they go to this party with Braden's cousin. Okay. Now this is a party for very fun and very happy people. Just very fun and happy people that have a lot of money. So I must kind of turn it over to Ronald.
But yeah, they get to this party. It's being thrown by this guy that Brendan's cousin Shu knows. They get up there. Corey, I don't even remember where he was. He was somewhere else. But Brendan and Nate, they get up there. And like, they're just, it's like Tati said, it's a rich people party. And I will say this. The men, they weren't broke. They weren't broke. They weren't broke at all. So they fit right in. Oh, I also want to mention this before we go further. Corey went to an HBCU. So I also appreciate that. All that shouting out to the HBCUs and stuff like that. Y'all can see I got me on an HBCU shirt, but that's all right. So what happened was they get down to this party. It's a rich people party. And Nate is like, I'm gonna scope out the scene. And Brendan's like, this not really my thing. And she was like, well, Brendan, you know, they got pool downstairs. And Brendan's like, that's my thing. So he goes downstairs to go play pool. While Nate is scoping out the scene, he talking about he's looking at all the women. And all he sees is this one cute girl, this one cute light-skinned girl that is Nigerian and French. Her name is Celine. We later find out she's a model and an actress. And, you know, she's just it. She's just it in the party. So Nate is like, I'm not gonna approach her first. I'm gonna wait till a few guys approach her, and then I'm gonna approach her. Because he's like, they tend to turn away the first few guys that approach. So if I wait a little bit, then I can approach. So he runs his game, goes over to her, says hi to her homegirl Trish. Trish is looking like, what you doing over here? What you want? You know what's going on. But Celine, you know, and Celine not stupid either. She knows what's going on, but she's feeling Nate. So she's like, okay, we can give it a try. And while all that is going on, Brendan is downstairs whooping this dude named Franco. Franco is Celine's photographer. He's whooping him in pool. So Franco's like one of them dudes that just don't want to accept defeat. So he lose all his money. And as Brendan is playing pool, it's this girl named Candy that's like, I want to play you next, you know, flirting and stuff like that. So Franco loses all his money. He runs off. And then Candy comes over to Brendan. She's like, hey, baby, you know, I can show you a good time, stuff like that. So they go off to have them a good time, right? Franco goes upstairs and he's like, Celine, I lost all my money. I need more money. Celine's like, I'm not giving you no money. He's like, well, it's all right because the dude that beat me, he's in a situation that he don't even really know what's going on. So Nate is like, what you mean? So once he find out what it is, Nate runs down there. He's thinking that Candy is a man. Spoiler alert, Candy is not a man. So Nate run down there and he interrupts the good time and he ends up knocking Candy out. And I was like, sir, unnecessary.
Mind you, he did think she was a guy, but it was also that part because y'all, Nate is dark, right? So he going there to break up the party or whatever, and she said it was the part because I could imagine it. It was like she called him a black something. She said something, but basically was calling him like a blackie, like black. I was talking about his skin, and it's like y'all know that sound is like at that moment he knew he messed up. That was the moment because Brendan was like, at that moment he knew when she said that she was about to send Nate off, and Nate thought this was a man, so Nate was like, bet. Cause he was like, I was gonna drop it. He was just gonna get his boy, leave, let it be. But when she said that, he popped. All for it to turn out to actually be a woman. Now, ain't that crazy?
It was crazy.
That crazy.
And it was crazy, and they took off running out the party. It was a big hot mess. Remember, during this whole time, Brendan is like, dude, you messing it up for me. What you doing? Just to get out the party. They running for their lives. Just to get out there, and Nate out there with a girl. And Brendan's like, how you gonna mess it up for me? But then I'm just supposed to sit by and let you do what you do. But this whole scene was, I feel like it wasn't needed. The only thing it really brought to the story was showcasing how Nate be messing stuff up for his boys, but then expect them to not mess things up for him. That's all it showed to me.
For me, this set the scene for Nate and how he runs his game. It's like, okay, this is how he runs his game. You really got to see Nate being a playboy. You got to see Brendan, because everybody thinks it's like you see him being a sucker in real lifetime, like seeing how his personality is like. Because when he went in, he wasn't even trying to get with the girls. You see that part. And then also him having to like, because the whole idea of this as well as like Nate coming to rescue Brendan because he's so gullible, like everybody having to rescue him. And something else, one of the biggest things for me was how he met Celine. Because when he met Celine, Celine was like, you a playboy. He was like, no, I'm not really. But Celine's like already hip to the game. She's like, come on now. I know what type of dude you are. He thinking she not hip to it, but she actually was. So I feel like that was setting the scene for me, because I feel like I got a lot of how everybody's personality is. Same with Nate being such a hothead, because Nate is a hothead throughout the whole book, bro. He he be here for what?
Like the actual party scene, that was necessary. I just feel like that whole thing with Candy, it didn't have to go down like that.
Oh,
But
he could have did. They could
yeah,
have did it a different way. So after that, we kind of switched back to Corey because at the same time this is happening, Corey get back from his job and he gets a job offer. So he
yeah.
goes to tell the married woman, Dr. Paula, whatever. He's like, "Hey, girl, I got some news for you." He like, I know she's not gonna take it well, but I'm gonna at least tell her. Baby, Paula goes off. She say, "You think you? I don't know who you think this is, but you're not about to use me. You're not, because mind y'all, he want to wait till after they get down, dirty, laying in bed, and then tell her he leaving. Not he thinking about it or nothing. She like, oh, babe, this the last time you get any of this cookie if you leave, because you're not about to spring this upon me that you leaving in basically 2 weeks or so. Like, you about to just leave and go get to a new job. Now, the job is an amazing job. And it's a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But you know, she not really feeling all of that. But it's actually a really good job with a company. I think it's like a tech company or something. And he's like, not too many men get in this position. And where he's at in his job, y'all know, Black people, we hit the glass ceiling. He's kind of at the glass ceiling with his job. And this job is got to give him even more money. So he is about to be in a position that very few Black men are in. And like how um just like how Ronald said, these men have jobs. These men make money. Now, I don't know what they do. I forgot. But they actually have money. They actually work and all the other type of stuff. So Corey's like, you know what? I'm going back to DC. She mad. They break up. And then the boys get on the phone. They talk about what happened. Nate lets them know, I mean, not Nate. Corey lets them know, hey, I'm moving back to town. And it's all good. They end up moving back to town. Corey's job, let me tell you how good this job is. They gave him like $5,000 or something like that for moving fees, expenses. They paid for his moving, got him an apartment, like everything. He's set. And so he back. And something else I love, so he's back in town or whatever. But something else I do want to say is he did another thing that he put on for, and something that we always be talking about is like the South and country people. Something that Corey's experience, because when they were talking about, because even Shelly, his ex-girlfriend, she ends up dating, they call them Bama N-words or whatever, but she ends up dating somebody from Alabama or somebody from the South. And they're like, look at this little country brand, Bama, whatever. And so Corey's experience in the South helped him also and kind of brought to light, it kind of shedded that idea that we see in a lot of the books of, oh, everybody in the South just country bumpkins. He's like, no, this is a city. People have fun. They do what they do, and it's not cold. So when he moves back to DC, he got to get used to it being cold and all these other type of things. But the boys, they all go to another party because they party animals. Apparently, they like to be with a party. Nate know everybody, which of course Nate is that type of person that knows everybody. And so at this party, they are what's his name? Nate is trying to hook up Corey, because you know Corey just moved back to the scene. Nate trying to hook up Corey or whatever, and they all just meeting people there.
We left out a huge part from the first party scene. Before they even went to the party, Nate was at the gas station waiting on them. And he met another girl, India. India is cute. He describes her as like, I think he said Nia Long. I think that was India. Listen, it was so many women and so many descriptions flying around. I can't remember who
Nia
was
Long
who.
though for India.
I think India was Nia Long. And so he meets her, he's hitting on her. She, you know, at first she's like, yeah, whatever. But then she's kind of feeling it. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna give it a chance. Corey, you know, he's telling his boys he's feeling Celine, he's feeling India, but he got another girl named Kim. And keep in mind, a big part of Nate's personality is that he was raised by his grandma, and his grandma is the only one that he respects. Like the only woman he respects. Look at your face.
That's why you can't be with people who don't like their mamas. Nate, I always say that, and Nate is a prime example. He don't like his mama, and look.
But yeah, so he's feeling Celine. Like he's shocked that he's feeling her beyond like their first time sleeping together. Like, but he also likes India because he says she's hot. She's like
But
He likes her.
but India is more like the backup plan. India for him, even though Nia Long is not really the girl next door, let me not even use Nia Long, right? Even though he's compared to Nia Long. I feel like India for him is more like a Sanaa Lathan, right? Sanaa Lathan always gives like girl next door type of vibes. That's what she is. Versus Celine is more like how people see Nia Long or how people see Gabrielle Union, stuff like that. Like she is, or Holly Berry. She is like the it girl. So it's like, of course, people think Sanaa Lathan is very fine. People love her, think she's fine, but she gives more like girl next door. That's the vibes that India gives him, is more like I could settle down, she's cute, this and that. Celine is more like fun, go like beauty, trophy wife type of thing. We into the same type of things. Very glamorous, just like how Nate is very glamorous. Like that's the difference, because it's not like it's not like they even, but they not really even. You could tell who he's really more into Celine. He's definitely more into Celine, but it's not like India is just like Sanaa Lathan. It's not like Sanaa Lathan is ugly. It's not like she bad. It's just people sometimes like one more than the other one.
Yeah. And then there's Kim. Kim is a girl. Kim is truly like his for real backup plan. Like think Annette and Pee Wee during the time when Pee Wee was running between Annette and all these girls. Annette was the girl he always came back to when he broke up with the girl he was with. And she was fine with that. Kim is similar. She's not the same, she's similar. Kim is not like a disappointment either. Like she's cute, she's got money, she does well for herself. She's a very down to earth, very nice person.
Mm-hmm.
And Nate likes her, but he doesn't like her in the same way he likes Selena India.
Nate don't like nobody. Let me tell you, already off rip. Nate don't like no. The only two women that are, first of all, nobody compares to his grandma, but the only two women that he actually likes are India and Celine. Everybody else are background characters. Celine and India are cast members. Everybody else, they're extras. They're all extras.
Kim is like Kim is like Kim. Kim is like Kim off Moesha.
Mm-hmm. Like a reoccurring character. You're not main cast, but you're a reoccurring character that he can go back to, definitely. And she foolish.
Like,
She believe him every time and goes back to him.
yeah, like we the audience like you, but he don't like you. About kind of what went on, like, they catching up. He's telling him he's moving to DC, right? During that conversation, Nate mentions that Corey's ex, Shelly, has a daughter. And that the daughter might be Corey's. And Corey's like, no, that ain't my daughter. Like, it ain't no way. Like, she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't do me like that.
And that's been the joke for forever. Like, ever since when they broke up, right when they broke up, she got with somebody else and they had the baby. And so when they had the baby, he was like, it's been such a running joke that when it first happened, he went to Shelly, he was like, come on, is this my baby? And Shelly was like, no, that's not your baby, okay? That is not your baby. So, because it's something that he actually was really worried about. It was like so close. He like because nobody could believe they had been together for that long, for like 3 years or more. And she got pregnant by the other dude in like a month. Like everybody was like, they couldn't believe that. So Nate is on the phone joking about that, and we get that backstory from Corey. Like, this joke is a joke that need to be cut out, basically.
Yeah, but when he moved home, so when he gets home, he's like staying with his mom until his stuff is ready. And this is when we meet his family, right? He has a sister named Brenda. And Brenda had two kids, Tori and Kyle. Yes, Kyle. So mind you, Tori is 15. Tori is 15. Kyle is like 11. So these are not like little kids. I bring that up because there's some stuff later that goes on in the book, and it had me like, why are these aren't little kids? They teenagers. I want to know how you feel about this, because when I was reading it and they was describing like how Kyle was doing in school, and they was like he got ADD, and Corey was just like, nah, he's need his butt whooped. I was like, this is a very 2000 book. A very 2000 book.
I think that it's very 2000s. It's very much with the times of he just need his butt whooped. But I also feel like there's a hint of truth in that. Not full truth. I don't think that I don't think the school wise he just needs his butt whooped. But I do think it's hot that, and this is one of the reasons why Corey wanted to come home, is that he becoming an age where he needs a man's influence. He's a boy. It's only his dad. Corey's dad has passed away already. So it's like Corey is just his mom and his sister. There's no man really around other than a neighbor that's like 50-something years old too, that is there to actually be stern with him. So when Corey comes, that's basically what he wants to do. That's his job. His job is like, yo, grandma said do it the first time. Now with the school thing and him having ADD, definitely very 2000s. It was definitely very telling of the times and how they saw things, because yeah, they just saw it as that definitely rubbed me the wrong way when that was happening, because up until then I was with Corey. I was like, yeah, he need a little man there, come help him out. That little part I was like, so is Kyle really bad? Is it what you really telling me, or what is it?
Yeah, so like you said, Corey moved home because he got this job, but also he wants to be there to be, a good male role model to his nephew, right? So then he gets home, he's getting settled in. Nate calls. You home? You home? Good. We going to a party. So they go to this party, right? And Nate is like, I'm gonna set you up with my boo. Keep it, this another girl, Erica. He going to this party with Erica. He like, I'm gonna set you up with my girl's cousin Jay.
And Corey asked him specifically, have you slept with Jay? Because he did not want his sloppy leftovers. And Nate said no. Okay, cool. So they go to this party, and this party is where we meet the other ladies that's going to be in this.
The actual important ladies.
Yeah, actual important ladies. So Corey is talking to Jay. He kind of feeling her, but Jay goes to the restroom. So he like, okay, he gonna walk. And he saw this hot little Amazon honey he wanted to talk to. So on his way to talking to her, he sees somebody, and he almost had a heart attack because he thought it was Shelly. It's not Shelly. It's Nina. Is it Nina?
Right? Yeah, Nina.
Yeah. It's Nina, Shelly's little sister that he meets. And he like, because they look alike. He like, yeah, Nate told me he seen her and she had, grew up, but I ain't seen my girl in like 5 years. She was a teenager. Now she a woman. And she definitely finer than Shelly was at that time. What do you mean by that? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? So he spends time talking to Nina, and they all, they talk, they chat. He ends up getting her, they exchange numbers, and he goes back to finish up whatever he's doing to talk to Jay. And Nate has Jay, and he talking to the girls and stuff like that. Brendan he doesn't meet. Brendan is like a manager at a store, at a luxury store. So he sees a customer that he saw before there. So he's like, hey, let me chop it up with this girl. I've seen you before. Her name is I don't know how you say it. Lainey?
Lainey. It's Lainey.
Okay. I got this one right. See, guys, I get it right sometimes. Okay. There's Lainey, and she's there. So they're chopping it up, and she seems like a cool girl. So while they're leaving, they end up leaving, and Nate, of course, he got his little big dog clan. So him, Jay, Erica, and Corey go to Nate's house. And then, what's his name? Brendan ends up talking to Lanny or whatever. And, they end up vibing. They end up having a good little conversation. So then, so much so that was the next day Thanksgiving, or am I tripping?
No, it was. I think it was.
Okay. So much so that the next day Thanksgiving comes, right, y'all? Okay, so Thanksgiving comes, and they're going to meet up at Nate's house. I mean, not Nate's house. They're going to all meet up at Corey's house. So Brendan brings Landy, or whatever her name is. He brings her. She's cool. Now, you would think that Nate would bring Erica, right? No. You know why he didn't bring Erica? Because Jay Erica's cousin. In the morning, he decides to go in the room with Jay, Erica's cousin, and we find out he's already had sex with Jay, Erica's cousin, who Corey had just had intercourse with the same night. He goes in there and he decides he wants to get him some. And you know what happens? Because Erica's in the next room, she wakes up like people normally do when there's so much commotion in the next room. And they get into it. Because what are you doing?
It was very rational.
And then Jay's like, well, you got a boyfriend. Now what you doing? Now what you doing telling my business? Because you got caught with my. It was just a lot going on. Of course, because it's Nate. So of course a lot was going on, and so he ends up going to India's mom's house. He's like, because India invites him over, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go over her mama's house, and if she can't cook, I already got my dude gonna call me, tell me go over there. Got my little escape plan. Turns out India mama could throw down actually, so he enjoys being over there. And then India ends up dropping him off to Corey's house because Corey has his truck or whatever. And so then guess what? They're like, okay, let's go, let's kick it. What y'all want to do? They decide they want to go to a movie. But Corey, as you hear, doesn't have anybody. Nate got his girl. Brendan got his girl. Nate don't got nobody. Only number he has in town, guess whose number it is? The only number he has to call. Yeah, so he goes, calls Nina up, and they go see the movie.
But they don't go with everybody else. They go see it at a different theater.
Now, Nate said, Nate, Nate. You don't think this is a little bit messy? Nate. The same Nate we've been talking, the same Nate that, slept with the cousin while the cousin was in the room. That Nate said, you don't think this a little bit messy? Corey's like, we just going out, we just hanging out. But Nate was like, you don't think this a little bit? Okay, cool. To me, that's when Corey took a turn for me. Because I was liking Corey up until that point. But that's when Corey took a turn for me, because if Nate is telling you this, what are you really doing? Where your head really at? What's really going on? And at this point, this is when I started to have a favorite. I already loved Brendan from the beginning. I'm going to tell you already right now. I loved Brendan from the beginning because I don't even know what Brendan's supposed to look like, okay? I just know what he is in my mind. He is adorable in my mind, okay? He was a little bit fluffy, actually, when he got with when he was. So at this point, he a little cuddly teddy bear to me. So adorable, so cute, so loving. I'm like, oh, he's so cute. I love Brendan. I hope he get his fairy tale happy ever after. Nate, I started liking at this point too. And Nate, I started liking because I told y'all this reminded me of another book. This started giving me skyscraper vibes. It's so messy. If y'all never,
He was giving you what's that man's name? Not Thomas, but what's the boy name?
Chico. What's that boy name? Not Chico. What's the other boy?
The big dog.
Oh, it is Tom. It's not Thomas.
I don't remember what it was, but is that who he was reminding you of?
Child. No, the book in general was reminding me of, the book in general was reminding me of Skyscraper, just how messy it was. Y'all, how messy the book started getting. I'm like, oh, this is Skyscraper, period. That's when it started getting a 3 for me. But I also started liking Nate. You know what I liked about Nate? The thing I love about Nate is he never pretends to be a good person. At no point throughout this book is he ever like, why is this happening? He is such a bad person, and he knows he's a bad person, and he's okay. I like a villain, and I like a villain that's a villain for no reason. Nate did not get his heart broken. They didn't get a chance. They didn't even get a chance to break Nate's heart. He a villain because he a villain.
Yeah, so after that, Corey starts his new job, and he get down there, and they like, so we got you a secretary. You know, they tell him all his benefits and stuff like that. It's a really good job. Right? It's an amazing job. So they tell him, we got you a secretary, but if you want to get you a new one, we would prefer you hire somebody who's already in the company. But it's up to you, right? So he narrows it down to these two women, right? Mrs. Vance, a
One woman.
nice older black lady with all the experience, and Heather, a cute white woman that really don't got the experience, but she made a good first impression. Who y'all think he chose?
They could have kept it. I didn't need this part. They could have kept. I think this is the part where I started disliking Corey.
What really got me was him saying Mrs. Vance deserved this position. And this whole time he been talking about putting on for black people and taking care of our own and all of this, just to finally get in a position. And what he choose?
Hmm.
What he choose? A cute white woman who was there. Now, granted, this
Married
this
too.
ain't
You know he like married women.
and this not to bash Heather either, because she made a good first impression. She said, "Listen, you give me this job, I'm gonna do everything I need to do and more." Like, and when I say and more, I don't mean like sleeping with the boss and stuff like that. I mean she was gonna go over and above doing her job.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know who said this, but it's like black people don't want equality. They want the same access to privilege that white people have.
Exactly, because it's always what I coulda, shoulda, woulda did. All about and and honestly, that's the reason why he left his last company, because they didn't give him the promotion that he knew he deserved, that he was all the way qualified for. And it's always what I coulda, shoulda, woulda did, but then they get elevated, and then what do? And I think that he did a good job. What I will say about this author is he did a good job at making everybody human, but still a little bit likable. Like Nate should not be likable at all. Let's be real. Nobody should read Nate and think that he is an okay person. He is a terrible person. But the way that they write it, it's like, you know Nate. You know Nate. And Nate know Nate. Everybody know how Nate is and da. Like it's like one of those things. Like I feel like he did a good job at balancing people and making them feel like people. When you read the story, is it dramatic? Yes. But life is dramatic. These could be actual people. If somebody told me, let's say Nate, I don't know about Nate. Well, yeah, Nate. If they told me they knew somebody like Nate, they knew somebody like Corey, they knew somebody like Brendan. We all do. we all do.
I can tell you for myself. I know people like these dudes. All three of them.
The thing that I did like about this book too is that they show black men in a light that I don't think that we've seen black men in a light in a lot of the books that we've read. And I think maybe it's because it's written by a black man. Because like I said, all of these characters, they have parts and things that you might not like about them. But I don't think, other than Nate, I don't think they are a great representation of black men, but I don't think they're the worst representation of black men that we've seen.
Honestly, considering the time, they probably were great representation for that time.
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel. I honestly feel like that. They were probably really good representation. So then we fast forward, this getting to Christmas time. By Christmas
Yeah.
time, y'all, the only women that Nate is talking to is India and Celine. Those his
Yeah,
only
and I
women.
remember what I wanted to say. I remember. So Nate, because we talking about him. If you want, have you ever seen the movie How to Be a Player?
Mm-hmm.
That's Nate.
That is literally Nate. Literally. At this point, Brayden is with the Landy girl. What's her name? I think it's Landy, whatever I called her. He's with her, and they doing good. She got him working out. He didn't lost his pounds, so now he less fluffy. Him and Renee are still cool. Like Renee, all his girlfriends always got beef for Renee. Period. They're gonna always have some type of beef with Renee because Renee is Renee. She's his girl best friend. She's been around since they was in high school. They live together now, so everybody think they got something going on when they actually don't have nothing going on. But other than that, Landy seems like a pretty cool girl. Now, Corey hasn't really talked to Nina, but it's Christmas, he's shopping, he feels like, let me get her a gift. So he calls her.
But not only does he call her, he gets a gift for her, he gets a gift for Paula, he gets a gift for his other boo thing, which is Darlene, a
Mhm.
cheerleader in Atlanta. Like he's getting gifts for all of his women, but he ain't talked to none of
Exactly. He's just thinking about them. So he calls, a man answers the phone. He's like, "Oh, well, Nina's not here right now." And we thinking it might be her boyfriend or something. He's like, "But can I keep a message?" Says Corey's name on there. A girl's like, "Is that Corey? Corey da da?" She answers, she's like, "Hello, is this Corey?" And so yeah, it's Corey, right? And guess what the lady is? Shelly. Shelly's like, "Hey, who you calling for?" He was like, "Actually, I'm calling for Nina." And she's like, "Corey, why the heck are you calling for my sister?" Okay, well, I'm gonna tell her. And she's like, "Y'all seen each other?" Like, no, we just hung out a little while ago, but we ain't really been seeing each other. I just saw her at a party. It was nothing big. She probably forgot. That's why she asked her. She like, "Oh." And he was like, "We were together for like 3 years. She knows when I'm lying." So she know that he's lying. But Shelly just like, "Okay, baby, Nina get home." Cause Nina, this back in the day, she's forward all her calls to Shelly's house. She get home, Shelly asks her a simple question. "Oh, have you talked to Corey lately? I heard you moved back to DC." No, she lied. That's all Shelly needed. Shelly said, "Get up out my house." The boyfriend, who was the one who answered, it was Shelly's boyfriend. He talking about why you even mad? She said, "You can get up out the house too." Because this not about how long it's been. It's not about it's been 5 years. This was my love. This is the man I love. Both of y'all been on some weird stuff and y'all can get out. And what she tell Nina? She said, "Corey is a dog and he gonna dog you out. Watch."
them. And I wrote in my notes, Shelly ain't tell not one lie. Shelly may have been a lot of things, but a liar in that moment, she was not. So during this time, Nina, she Shelly put me out the house. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can't go to my mama's house. Corey's like, "Come over here." She go over there. They talk. "It's okay, Nina. No, no, okay." Somehow we go from crying to sleeping together. Like I said, I read the book twice. So the first time I read the book, I don't know what's gonna happen. So I'm just reading, right? The second time I read it, knowing what's gonna happen, what's gonna take place, I want to give Darren his credit. He dropped a whole lot of hints of what was gonna come with Corey and Neiman. So many hints.
Mm-hmm.
So many hints. And we're gonna talk about it when we get to the ending, because I'm gonna tell y'all what my first reaction was, and I'm gonna tell you what my reaction was when I read it the second time. Because it's two different reactions. And this is why I honestly say I stick by my 4, because after reading it the second time, I'm like, yeah, he did that.
It's a lot of foreshadowing. I will say it's a lot of foreshadowing, and it's a lot of foreshadowing, but you won't get to it unless how he said. If you haven't read the whole book, baby, you're not putting the pieces together in the way. I won't say I'm really good at foreshadowing, but I'm really good at like kind of picking up on where a story is gonna go. But for me, what makes it a good author is if I can't figure out exactly how it's gonna happen, that's great for me. Cause I know something gonna happen, but we'll see how it's gonna happen.
The next scene, Nate is on Jerry Springer.
This is one of my favorite scenes. Oh, I love
Nate
this.
is on Jerry Springer. He is like, what in the world is going on? They bring him out on the stage. Kim is there, Erica there, Celine is there. Basically, Kim is like, I got a call from my homegirl, Trina, that she's seen India with my man, and then she's seen Celine driving my man's car. So I was like, it's my man, and I need to know what's going on. So she called the show. They all there. They done all found out about each other. It's another girl that's there too. It's a fourth girl. I can't remember, but it's a fourth girl that's there as well. Because what happens is Jerry brings Nate out on stage. Nate, what's going on? She's lying, and the girl jumps.
Oh,
They jump him. They get dragged off the stage. They get dragged off the stage, and then Jerry's like, "Nate, what you got to say for yourself?" And India and Celine, they both like, before he starts, India's like, "I did this for you. I did that for you. I tried to take you to church." Keep in mind, India is a church girl. She's a church girl. She goes to church, but yeah, she's out here talking about something. She was saving herself for her man, but yeah, she was sleeping with Nate. Church girl, church
You
girl.
know how this
So
goes. Everybody that trying to save themselves always, they don't be winning in the end. This just she didn't mean her husband. She meant her whichever partner is her partner. That's what she meant.
I'm gonna say this: you can't win doing it on your own. That's all I'm gonna say. You really,
Mhm.
but basically, India's like, I was saving myself, and I thought we was gonna be together, and then I found out about this girl, and Celine look at her like she crazy. India's like, I wish you would try something. I'll take both of y'all out, and then Celine gives him a piece of her mind. She's like, I thought we had something going here. Like, what are you doing? And basically, India pulls a gun on him. And she's like, Nate, I'm gonna leave it up to the audience. What goes on with you? And the audience is like, kill him, kill him. And he look out in the audience, it's all the women he dogged out. And guess who's in that audience? Corey's sister, Brenda. I was like, at this point, this was when I was like, I was done with Nate. Because I was like, Corey's sister, you slept with Corey's sister. And you don't want to tell him because you know he gonna get mad. But yeah, you get mad at Corey for feeling bad for the girls that you be dogging out. But one of the girls you dogged out was his sister. Throw the whole friendship away. But yeah, basically the girls like, kill them, kill them. So he started begging for his life. He's like, Celine, I'm sorry, I always loved you. Please don't let them kill me. It come to find out it's a bad dream. Yeah, so basically after the bad dream, we switch over to Brendan, right? And so like Tati said, Brendan is with Lainey. She's got him right, got him fit. You know, he's starting to look good to the women. He was never ugly, but they starting to feel him now because he's getting, he's getting built, he's getting stacked, right? So Lainey comes over because it's his birthday's coming up, and basically she's made him this promise of like, if you can stick to our fitness plan till like the 4th of July, you'll get fireworks. Fireworks is sleeping together, right? So basically she comes over to like, start planning for his birthday, stuff like that. She sees Renee. Hey Renee, how you doing? She wants Renee to like her, right? Because she recognizes that Renee is important to him. And then Renee is like, Renee just being chill, being herself, being cool. And she just makes this joke with Brendan, like, because like I said, they had the little fitness thing going on. And it was his birthday. So Brendan's like, Renee, what we doing for my birthday? And she's like, just wait and see. And it'll be worth it. Lainey didn't like that. So she decides that she got to mark her territory.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, nah, this is my man. At that point, she no longer cared about Renee liking her. She's like, no,
Child, and she wanted him to do it to wear him out. And so she's like, oh, he gonna be so wearing out. He can't go to dinner or whatever, do whatever he gonna do after with Renee. Mind you, Renee and him just friends. So the guys end up going out to dinner for his birthday. So it's the girls. I think he took India this time. So
it's yeah, it's India.
it's India,
And
Nia. It's the main girl.
while they out having a good time being a mix of class and street like Whitney Houston, they see these two dudes out, right? And it's these dudes that are part of the local basketball team. Like what and when I say local basketball team, I don't mean like, like a local basketball team. I mean like the team for that area, right? In the NBA. So and they know Nate. So they go over and they saying hey to Nate, saying what's up, what's going on. And it's this basketball player. His name is Joe Simpson, right? He looks at Lainey. He's like, he look at her, but she don't look at him. And he look at her and he like, wait a minute, you the one from the party last year that robbed me. And so everybody's like, what's going on? Come to find out, Lainey is a stripper that used to do private parties. And what had happened was she and her girls, they did a private party for Joe and his boys when he got drafted onto the team. And some of his stuff ended up coming up missing. And he was like, "Oh, it was you. And I done finally found you. Oh yeah, I'm gonna let the authorities know I saw you." And so everybody is shook. They're like, "Not Lainey, not sweet little old Lainey." Brendan, most of all, is pissed off because he's like, this ruined his birthday. So everybody, it ends on a sour note. They going home. Lainey is like, she can see that Brendan is pissed off and hurt. And she basically like, I can explain. Brenda's like, don't even bother. Like, you lied to me. You ain't tell me none of this. And Lainey's like, I did it because I knew you was gonna treat me the same if you knew. And basically, Brendan is basically like, he dropped her off at home. He like, get out my car. And then he goes home.
I feel so bad for Brendan because I'm like, my boy can't catch a break. Like that, the guy said you want to see the video. Come on now. Now, what he should have did was saw the video. I feel like that will probably have been the only thing that set him straight because he should have saw a video or something. But I felt really bad, and you kind of seen. I feel like it kind of changed him because you see when they had the whole scene. But I felt really bad. I felt really embarrassed for him, and I just felt like Lady has so much audacity and nerve. And that's the interesting thing that I've noticed about Brendan's women and specifically. Brendan's women specifically have so much of a claim and feel like they have so much of possession over him. Same with Trina not wanting to leave him alone. Like they feel like they could do whatever to him. And somehow he's still supposed to be that man. Somehow they're still worthy. Like Lainey's like, I know I'm not really worthy and but you still feel that connection to him and you still want to be with, you still want to put him through the same stuff. It's like, I was very in between at this point with Lainey because I didn't know if she was, I didn't know what type of girl she was gonna be. Cause you know how what you call it? I think her name was Trina or something like that. Whatever the other girl's name was from Men Cry in the Dark. I felt like she was such a good person. Nikki, I think, okay. She was so cool and such a good person. For him to just throw her character out like that, it really made me mad. So I was hoping that Lainey might have some redemption, like, cause she was talking about, like, just letting you know my story, die. And so I feel like that's the only reason why I was kind of like, and I felt like she was more remorseful than Trina. I feel like Trina, right after it happened, was like, take me back, take me back, take me back. You're my man, you're my man, you're my man. And I feel like Lainey was more, she was still possessive, undeservingly, but she was a little bit more reserved.
Yeah. So after that scene, the girlies is like, baby, you might have had a little bit too much to drink. So he goes upstairs to like go walk it off. And the girls is like, Renee, Brendan a little cute now. And he living under your roof. And Renee's like, no, it's not like that. It's not like that. Just for later that evening for her to go upstairs. And it was like that. That lady walked in the bathroom to check on Brendan. Keep in mind, she always goes in the bathroom when he's in there. This is not nothing unusual to them.
Mm-hmm.
She goes in the bathroom to check on him. She's like, hey, you doing okay? You want some? And she's holding popcorn. So she's offering him popcorn. And they just, it's crazy. Renee, in the moment, she's like, I can't believe we doing this. This is Brendan. Like, this is like my brother. It's crazy. I didn't know he had it like this. Like, it's just, it's intense. And then the next day, they wake up like nothing happened. And they just like, we can go on like nothing happened. But something did happen.
Because yeah, he started being on thin ice for me. Because you know who deserved this treatment? Landy. You know who deserved this treatment? Trina. You know who didn't deserve this treatment? My girl Renee, who was there for you, who you lived with. This is where Brendan started to get strikes for me. Because what do you mean I can't decide between Renee? Day one, always been solid, is attractive, dropped all her people for you. You living with her, all of that. And Landy, who on candid camera stealing.
Now, let me say this. So after they do that, Brendan go running. Guess who at the track?
Hmm.
Lainey. She wanted to talk. Brendan like, I ain't talking to her. So they don't talk. But what ends up happening is, like Tati said, Lainey, she comes back into his life in a way that Trina couldn't seem to figure out how to do, right? Lainey's very subtle with it. She like, let me send him some gifts. Let me give him his space. Let me be like, I understand why you don't want to talk to me. And so that makes Brendan start feeling a little bit like feeling her again. Because keep in mind, at this point in the book, Brendan don't know her side of the story. He only knows what the basketball player told him. And
Hmm.
he's just pissed off at her because she didn't tell him this. He don't
Hmm.
know her side of the story. He don't know what's going on with her. But basically, he's like, maybe I was a little too hard. But then again, she did lie to me. Now, granted, I was like, how did she? At this point, I was like, how did she lie? Because she didn't tell you. Who wants to disclose that information about themselves to somebody?
They were dating though. I felt what he was saying.
But we
If
don't.
I'm dating a man and a girl go to me, yeah, that man stole my necklace. He stole, and then especially a famous man, a famous girl. Imagine I'm just walking, minding my own business, and Angela Reese walk up to me and be like, "That man robbed me." What man? Where? It can't be this one. It cannot be this one. No. What Renee said, Renee ain't never lied. But did we want to listen to Renee? No, we couldn't decide. I couldn't decide. I couldn't decide. And that's Brendan's problem too. Because you know what? And they were saying that, oh, so what if I'm gullible? Yeah, you are gullible. You are very gullible. And you need to start thinking about that. Because that's when you start realizing that, or that's when it start being like, okay, Brendan, or do people keep treating you wrong? Or do you just not care about the signs?
While all of this is going on, Nita and Corey, they arguing over a movie at Blockbuster that Corey saw last year with his friends. And Nina like, I don't want to watch no movie that you saw with another girl. Y'all, mind you, Nina is 25. Corey is like in his late 20s. Y'all too old and too grown for this. But basically, Corey realizes that Nina likes to start stuff just for the fun of it, just so that they can go home and have makeup sex. That's what she likes. That's what she does, right? And he's like, I don't know how I feel about that because why is you starting stuff with me for no reason? And like basically, it's like during this conversation, she calls him a dog, and he gets upset about it. And she's like, well, if the shoe fits, wear it. Why at the end of the chapter, Corey talking about, I got my woman and the shoe fits?
Shelly might tell you a joke, but she ain't never told you a lie. She ain't never told you no lie. Because let me tell you something, and even in the book, you'll realize this. Shelly called him a dog was low key semi out of line because he ain't never did none of that stuff with her. But he was definitely a dog to Nina. He was definitely a dog. He ain't that history with Shelly. I don't think he ever did any of that with Shelly. But with Nina, the shoe in fact did fit very well. Like how he went back after this, he ended up going back to Atlanta. Why? Oh, because my friend's wedding, aka to meet up with Paula, the married woman. That's really why he went back.
But it wasn't a wedding party, it was an anniversary party. So he down there turning up, having him a good time. He gets to the hotel room. Paula came by and dropped off a letter basically saying, hey baby, we're done. I'm getting back with my husband because I can't live without all the stuff he gives me.
I don't
And
quit.
so,
Man, you can't fire me. I already quit.
and so she's like, yeah, I'm gonna stay with my man. Thanks for the great time. Deuces. Why Corey pissed off? Talking about stuff. She used me. I can't believe she did this thing. Mind you, Corey is in love with Nina. He keeps saying he's in love with Nina. He wants to do right by Nina. He don't want to do Nina like this. But yet you mad because your Professor Boo ain't come through.
So, and then what do? You don't call Nina. You don't go chill. You don't decide, I'm going to just go back home. Maybe this is a sign for me to stay in the house. You call up your other cheerleader. Hey, let's get it on. And get your cheerleader all worked up. She got a whole nother boo that she actually probably liked. She came back, you didn't filled up her head. So then you over here, he probably wasn't even right. He probably was not even right about nothing. But in her head, you didn't got in my head about everything. So now you didn't mess up how I feel about this dude. And so then guess what? That's the girl that helped him pack up his stuff. That's the girl that took him to the airport. He get on the plane and talk to this little boy while he on the plane. And the boy's asking him, like, where should I go to school? It's between two HBCUs. Come on now. Where should I go to school? What should I do? Da, da. And he's talking to the boy. And then the boy is like, hey, you got something in your collar. And he like, oh, thank you. I'm glad you caught that. He was like, us men gotta stick together. And Corey was like, what do you mean, us men? You are you are 15 years old. He's like, and is this the example that I should be setting for these boys and stuff like that? And when they were talking, again, they chatted up about different stuff. And he was like, you only dog women, or you only treat certain type of women like that if they deserve it. He was like, so what your girl did to deserve it? And Corey was like, and the boy's like, I'm sorry, I ain't mean no offense. I ain't even mean nothing about that. He was like, dang, nothing. Like, he was shocked.
You want to know what's crazy? You want to know what's crazy? Corey was like, up until that moment, he was like, oh, this boy seemed kind of nice. Somebody want to introduce him to Tori. But as soon as Corey started filling up his head, and as soon as the boy like, oh, we got to sit together. Oh, I'm looking up to you. Oh, never mind. I don't think I want to introduce this boy to Tori. Mind you, what was the secondary reason Corey went back to DC? To be a good example to Kyle.
And especially when the boy was like, we got to stick together, he was like, whoa. And then when the boy asked him, like, what did your girl do? He was like, dang, what kind of example am I setting? Like, it really made him think about it. Like, what kind of example am I setting? And he was like, you know what? It's all about Nina. Like, she's a great woman. She cooks, she cleans, she do all these things. Like, she goes above and beyond. It's all about her. He was all in love with her, looking at rings and stuff like that. Like, at this point, that talk with that kid, even though in the last 4 months they've been together, he already treated twice. It's not happening no more. He in love with her. And that's going to be that. That's what he decided after that talk with that boy.
Brandon. He finally reads that letter from Lainey. And Lainey basically like, my mama was a drug addict. I've been raising her. My nephew, because my sister's dead, something. It was a long sob story about how she basically had to put herself through school by stripping, like she was Diamond off Players Club.
But she didn't actually go through school.
But she couldn't go through school because it was just too much going on. So she just was making the money, and she regretted doing the party because it was greedy of her. Like, basically this long sob story to make Brendan feel sorry for her and give her a chance.
Yeah, I just feel like it wasn't a good enough excuse for me. I feel like it was a great sob story, but I just feel like it wasn't a good enough excuse for me, especially comparing her character to Renee's character. I just felt like Renee was the better choice. And I feel like in this situation, it started to very much give Robin. To where you turn from a character I really liked to a character that I now see as willfully ignorant, that I see as enjoying struggle. Like, you are a person that I see that enjoys struggle. And that's when traumatically, that's when Nate became my favorite. Nate was not supposed to be my favorite, okay? I was supposed to love me some Brayden. I thought Brayden was going to get a happily ever after. It started to be more and more clear to me when he read that and started feeling sad that, oh, this is not gonna be what I thought it was gonna be.
So while that's going on, Nate is in traffic on his way to Celine because he and Celine are going to New York because she is finna shoot this video for this R&B singer named Sean Simmons. So they going to New York for that. While he on the highway, India is literally driving right next to him, right next to him. She sees him, but he can't see her. So she gets a phone call on the phone. Nate's like, hey, baby, I'm going out of town. I'm taking my grandma to the doctor. She in the car with me. India look out the window. She like, in her mind, she like, I don't see no grandma. But she think Nate just playing because at this point, she like, oh, Nate must see me. He must be playing, right? But she quickly find out he's not playing. He's like, she like, why he lying to me? What's going on? So she follows him down to Celine's house. She like, oh, it's a woman, a bootleg Alicia Keys. Okay, I'm gonna sit outside and I'm gonna wait for him to come back out. Cause what she was gonna do was she was stab him up with a knife, but he ain't never come back out.
That's what I was hoping. But guess what? He went to New York, and everything was all good for him. So
it was amazing. It was amazing, right? Until it wasn't. He think he just going up to chill. Celine goes out to like get ready for what she got to do, right? He gets a call on the phone. Hey, Celine there? No, she not here. Well, who is this? I'm just here with her. What you look like? I'm tall, dark. I'm this and that. Why? We need a model for the video. Come on. Well, I ain't a model. It's okay. Celine brought you. Celine don't choose ugly people. Come on.
In the video, they decide, because Trish is there. Trish ends up being the director. He notices her. He's like, okay, that's her. And so Trish is creeped out because she like, okay, wait, let me tell y'all. Trish is like, okay, this is where the scene might be this or this. He ends up, of course, playing her lover, right? Her love interest. Okay, cool. He's her love interest. So then during the actual scene, like they were in some type of scene, and he decided he was going to do some
They was
things
gonna do something method.
while they were on the scene. So they were like, oh, this is good. This is real. Because she decided she wanted them to actually be nude and stuff like that for the video. And so they were like, oh, this look real. Like, this is really good. But Trish knew. And Trish was like, okay, this weird. This disgusting. Because Trish knows Sean. She knows Celine. And she knows that Sean knows that Celine and Nate are a thing. So she like, y'all being weird. Like, this is kind of crazy.
So Trish gets on the phone and calls Celine, hey, let me tell you what your man was doing down at the video shoot.
And so after that, they end up going to a party. They all end up leaving, and Celine and Nate, they go to sleep they ain't even kiss each other goodnight. That's what it literally says, without a goodnight kiss. So then Nate, he go out the next day, he doing whatever he gonna do. He come home. What does he see?
Celine in the bed with Sean.
When he walks in, he sees that Celine can't see him because like her face in the pillow, she turned around or something like that. And Sean is, is a woman, if y'all don't know, but Sean is, there. And Sean knows that he's there, and she turned up the action. She get more like, she turned up the action, and Nate is just sitting there because he's like, he don't know if he's excited, disgusted. He doesn't know how he feels because he loves her and he cannot believe that she is this way. But when Sean come out and give him instructions to do what he did what he do, and they all did it together. And you would think that that would be fun for him. He would be having the time of his life, which he semi was. He was actually really, really hurt. And after everything happened, Celine, he was like, they were at a party or something. I forgot what they were at, but he was like, he didn't even tell her he was ready to go. He was like, he didn't ask her if she was ready to go. He was like, we leaving. Like, I'm leaving. She was like, why are you leaving? Like, what's going on? And he like, bro, I cannot believe that I'm with a lesbian. Like, I cannot believe I fell in love with a lesbian. He's like, all the idea of you being my wife and the mother of my child, all this out the window. Like, and she's like, first of all, I'm not lesbian. And she was like, because he was also mad because he like, you like, Nate of all people is mad because he was lied to. He was like, he asked her, because I told y'all at the party, there was happy people, right? So it was a party full of them. So he asked her at the party, hey, because he thought her and Trish were a thing. And she was like, no. And so he was like, I can't believe you lied to me and you were my girl and da. And Selena's like, I'm sorry. I thought we were having fun. Cause remind y'all, she was like, I already know what type of game you on. You a playboy. Like, you know, he was like, oh no, I'm not. He was like, I thought we really cared for each other. Like, I loved you. She was like, I did not know that you felt that way. I'm sorry, my dear. He was like, so you never cared about me? She's like, I cared about you, but I didn't feel the same way you feel. I thought we was just having fun. And it was anticlimactic for me. It wasn't gut wrenching enough. But looking back, I get it, right? Especially because she was like, so if you would have put it together, it would have been fun, right? Because it's like he walked into every man's dream. You have Celine, #1 model in the world, basically, right now. You have Sean, who is #1 artist, so sexy. You like both of them. You have both of them together. You would think it would be awesome, great, beautiful. That man, y'all, he actually cried. We actually got a man that cried in the dark. He actually cried. He actually cried, y'all. And I don't think I took it in as much of like how big of a deal that Celine made him cry, because it just wasn't enough for me. But when you think about it, I'm like, dang, it actually was a lie. Because he walked in, not only did he walk in on her with another person, he felt like she had lied to him. He loved her and she didn't love him.
And it wasn't even over. It wasn't even over because he drives off, right? Gets back to DC. He goes straight to India. India not even home. He like, where this girl at? She pull up, hop out somebody whip, looking nice, looking cute, hair done, fried, dyed, legs to the side, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And he see a dude. He like, who is that? He's like, wait, let me wait. It might not be what I think. Then he see some kids. Then he see the dude pulling her parking spot. Like he finna come in. He like, it's exactly what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly what I thought it was. And so he get out the car. He run up on them. And he like, what you doing here? I done left you all these messages. I done told you all of this mess over the phone. And now you want to show up? I done moved on. Nate's like, you can't move on. Why this man start choking this lady out?
And mind you, she like, oh, I provoked him. I left the messages. He didn't read none of them. He didn't hear none of the messages. He just pulled up and was like, you know what? This is the deciding factor. India, my lady. Baby, she moved on. And she felt really bad. And guess what? So the guy that was there, because he ended up going in the house for a little bit. Oh, baby, he came outside with a bat. Because y'all know Nate kind of, he said, no, sir. Came outside with a bat, like, get off her. She like, guys, no, don't do this. No. Nate go to the car. You want to pull out a bat? I got you.
Maybe it's just the Texas in me. But why he ain't already have one?
For real. Why you didn't ran back to the car? They get to going back and forth. He like, bro, just leave her alone. Nate is like, you gonna leave and I'm gonna go in the house with her and I'm about to put it down. The guy go say, like I did last night and this morning, it was done. It was up. Bats were swung and shots were fired. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. The cops were called because baby.
And India, she was like, this too much. I'm gonna go stay with my sister. And that's the last we heard of India. But I was gonna say, I don't know how this is gonna reflect on me, but why when I was reading the scene, I'm like, I don't care how much crap Nate's talking. I would have swung.
Because Nate was really, yeah, he was really acting like he was that dude. I probably would have came back with the bat before then. Because why are you so confident? And Nate always, is with this, by the way.
The first time he was talking all that smack, I would have just popped him right then and there.
Because
And then when he came out with that bat and he was like, "Do it, I wish you would." Don't tell me that.
yeah.
Don't tell me.
And that's why I was saying in the beginning when he hit that girl, I'm like, that's how Nate is. When the basketball players came, he started cracking his knuckles about to fight the back. Nate is just really with that for some reason. I don't know what's wrong with the boy. Like, maybe that's why, because you gotta be with it if you keep playing games like this with people. You must be. And the whole thing about this, you know what's crazy too? Nate's whole thing is, you can't treat him too bad because you gotta be low key. You gotta be low. Nate, what is low key about this? The girl didn't pull up to your house. You the talk of the town in the hair. You dated a hairstylist. Everybody who hair she does has heard about Nate. Like, what do you mean? You pulling up to people's houses like you an industry model? Like, what's really going on?
Oh, and then after
I know
this
what
video,
happened, what he decided to do when he lost both of his little ladies, right? Who he called?
hey Kim, and
Exactly.
what Kim do? What Kim do?
He finally settled down.
Hey, guys. So all of that goes down, right? Then we get to Brendan. We find out Brendan and Renee slept together again. And during this time, Renee said to Brendan, "I love you. I have always loved you." She put it out there, right? Now, the first time I read this, I'm not gonna lie, I missed that part. But when I read it the second time, I caught it. Because what happened was they did that, and then they went back to being friends, right? So then Brendan is in the bed with Lainey. And Renee come home. If she catch them, and she's like, "Oh, okay." So Brendan takes Lainey home, and he tells Lainey that she's the one. He wants to be with her. He come back home. Renee and her homegirls done packed up his stuff. It's in storage. And this honestly, this really tells you about Renee's character in this moment because she didn't pull a Bernadine and just tear all his stuff down and throw it out and burn it up in front of the. No, she packed it up neatly, paid for a storage for 2 months, had it sent there, moved professionally, made sure nothing was broken, everything was good, had the stuff that he needed. Like she thinks this is what you're gonna need just in case. So this is that you can take with you right now. Had her homegirl like, "Listen, if you can't fit it on your car, I'll go with you. Drop it off." Mind you, the homegirl's pissed off at him. All of them is pissed off at him. But she's like, "Listen, if you need somebody to go with you to drop your stuff, I'll go with you." She just don't want to talk. She just don't want to see you. She very hurt. She made sure all his stuff was set, gave him back his rent that he paid to stay there. Now, the first time I read this scene, I was like, I was annoyed with her because I was like, "Now Renee, you ain't had to do all of that because you literally said we can go back to being friends. So why are you doing all of that?" But reading it the second time and reading that she said that she loved him and she put it all out there, and then Brendan went and did all of that with Lainey in the house, I was like, and then to find out that Renee still had enough respect for him to not destroy his stuff in a fit of anger, just nicely packed it up and put it out and had a plan ready to go. Yeah, yeah.
I didn't catch the part where she said she loved him either. I just think it's disrespectful. With the same girl that then been bopped around with basketball players, I just thought it was disrespectful. And the thing is, and when she went up, this is how Renee is how you said she had everything packed. And when he went upstairs, they was like, "Oh, he upstairs. He going upstairs." The door was already locked. And so he knocking on the door. When he came back down, what her homegirl said, Renee said, "Don't call her, don't text her. Okay? If she does forgive you ever, she will contact you. And if you were ever a real friend to her, you would not come to the house, you would not call her, you would not try to see her." And what he said he knew if Renee was standing right there in front of him, that's exactly what she would have said, because that sounds just like Renee, because that's exactly what she was telling him to do with all them other girls. But you know, the difference is Renee gonna stand 10 toes down like she did. She don't care that you've been her best friend for how long, and she was able to cut you off and say, "You know what, this person hurt me, I'm not gonna go back with them." But you didn't let Trina, you didn't let Landy, you didn't let all these other women hurt you how many multiple times? And you did it so much so that you hurt your own best friend. And then they thought, oh, I thought you was there for you just like Nate. Exactly, because you are. That's the thing about people who want to claim they good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. I'm a good guy. I can never get a good girl. You got a good girl, and what you did, you dogged her out for the bad girl. So what are you really talking about? Like a lot of people want to be self-proclaimed good guys. I'm a self-proclaimed good girl. I stay in the house all the time. I don't go out. I treat ladies with respect. I do X, Y, and Z. And then you get a girl, a nice girl. You get a girl who actually cares about you. You get a girl who does X, Y, and Z. And what you do? Lane not, I mean, yeah, Lane got a big booty or whatever, but Renee not ugly. She's very attractive. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, both of them cute. Oh, well, this person do this. Okay, well, first, and then first, second, 13th of all, don't none of them have better jobs. None of them other girls do better than Renee. You living with Renee right now. Renee has extra bedrooms for you to stay in. Do you really get what you really get this in DC? Come on now, like Renee is the only person that has anything for real. Like she baller on the same level as all y'all guys. So it's like I don't really, it really. I had already disliked Braden. I had already started disliking Braden, and this just sealed it for him because I kind of saw it going this way too. Of like, if he don't pick her, if he didn't outright pick her, then I knew. And when he brought Landy home, I was like, it's done. Because why would you? Oh, she was supposed to be gone. It doesn't matter if she was going to be gone or not. Why would you do that? Period. Why would you do that? Period.
Now, mind you, two things. Now, first of all, mind you, all of this going on, he's between Renee and Lainey, right? Trina is also back in the picture. Because what happened was all of the, and honestly, I wish we would have gotten this scene and this experience. This is something that really kind of like got on my nerves with this book a little bit. Was like we would get a lot of this went on, but we would never see it. We would never get the conversation. And then there was a second thing, like how you said earlier, Brendan's women all had like this possessiveness about him and stuff like that. I'm gonna say something, it might be unpopular, but it's the reason I said all of his women. That included Renee.
Yes.
That included Renee. Renee also had this, the whole, why do you think she was so upset? So upset that she put him out the house, even though she did it in a very nice way. She still put him out. And he's telling them that they still have a chance. It's not like they just coming back because they want to be with him. He's telling these girls, oh, you might have a chance. We could work it out. You still might got a chance. Renee's the only one who said, no, it's over. It's done.
But you such a, and that's the thing. That's why I was saying he was getting on my nerves because it's like, oh, but you such a good person. You such a good person. You such a good guy. I'm such a good guy. I get my heart broken so much. But this is what you're doing.
So what ends up happening is Corey's mom ends up doing a 4th of July party. And it had me cracking up because it was so hot outside. Everybody was inside the house. And she like, no, y'all need to go sit outside the house in the heat. This is a cook out, not a cook in. I was like, now how you gonna put them out your house? It's hot out there. Come on now. But basically, Corey has Nina. Nate pulls up with this girl he met in Miami, but he not feeling her. And Brendan, he has Lainey, right? So they over there having a good old time. Nina, she about to fall out, so she go lay down. So Corey goes up there to check on her, and they end up sleeping together. Corey is like he's getting transferred to New York for a little bit, right? So that's why he wants to go ahead and marry Nina because he's like, oh, I'm getting transferred for 6 months. So basically, she's gonna be alone for her pregnancy for most of it, right? Because he's going to New York, but he's like, it's not gonna be that long. So then they go out to a party. They go out to a party. Now this is after the whole Renee situation went down, right? So they out at the party. They having a good old time. Corey, he gets a little too drunk, so he goes off to the bathroom. He walks back, and he hears somebody call his name. He think he tripping, so he keep going. But then he realized he's not tripping, because guess who's standing at the bar? Shelly.
Come on.
Shelly at the bar. She looking good. She looking at him. He looking at her. Like, I gotta tell her. Basically, that's what he's like. He's like, I gotta tell her what's going on between me and Nina because we finna get married. She pregnant at
And
this
she
point,
was
right?
supposed
But
to
he's
tell
like,
them.
Shelly.
She was supposed
And
to tell
Nina
them.
was like, let me tell. Nina was like, let me tell her. But Nina taking too long. So he tells Shelly, I gotta tell you something. Shelly, like, she just knows something is up. She looking like, oh Lord, what it is. So they go back to his place, right? And before he can tell her what's going on, she tells him that her baby is his baby. The little girl, Amani, yeah, that's his baby.
Mm-hmm.
All he can think about is like, I missed out on 6 years of my daughter's life.
The reason that she says she didn't tell him is because the reason they broke up is because they both applied for two different schools. And he didn't even attempt to apply to the school that she applied to. I think it was Ivy League or something like that. But he didn't think he was going to get in, so he didn't even attempt to apply to it. So that's why they broke up, because he was dead set on going to Atlanta. She was going to another school closer to DC. It made me so mad. And so she didn't tell him because she like, you had your career, you dead set on going this place. And she was like, because he was like, oh, well, I need to do something. I could pay you back. I could pay him back. She's like, I have a master's degree and I'm a guidance counselor. I am good. Me and my daughter are good. Like, we don't need your money. He's like, well, I gotta pay you and the other guy, Kevin, back and da. She's like, okay, maybe Kevin needs the money. But again, I am good. Okay. I just didn't tell you because you wanted to do X, Y, and Z. Like, you wanted to go to school. And so he also ends up telling her about Nina. And she like, you don't want to be with no Nina. You want me. He like, no. She was like, so you love Nina? He was like, yeah, I love Nina. She said, you do not love Nina. He said, yes, I do. She said, so why you been looking at me like that? He was like, what? Like you been looking at me this whole time. So she said, you know what? I'm gonna take off this shirt. She took off her shirt. He said, well, what are you doing? She said, if you really love Nina and you don't want me, I'll put the shirt back on. Just ask me to. I'll put the shirt right back on. That's what I thought.
Nate is like, I got me a good woman. We back. Kim is like, we back. It's
Mm-hmm.
mine, finally. And to Nate's credit, he is attempting to do right by Kim. Because the whole book he been feeling bad about how he been treating her, but
Mm-hmm.
not to not be treating her bad. So now he's like, you know what? I'm actually do right by Kim, right? Kim thinking he's good, he's treating her right, got everybody thinking that he'd have changed just for him to get a call from Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, babe, I need you on 106 in Park. Well, I got something going on with my girl. Would you rather be with your girl than me at 106 in Park? I can show you a good time afterward. I'll be right there.
And all he
Mind
had to do was tell Kim it's a job. All
you,
he had to do
literally.
was say, I'm going to work. I did a little bit of modeling in New York. I'm going to work. Even if she made an argument about it, at least she would have known you are working. And that's a
She would have
believable
known
lie. You're
something.
supposed to be a playboy. That should be a believable lie for you to just make up.
And it's not even a lie. It was the truth.
Yeah, it actually is the truth.
Which is crazy because what ends up happening is Kim needed him to go take her to the hospital. That's why he was like, I don't know, because I need to take her to the hospital. Come to find out, Kim got tumors, possibly got cancer. She can't get a hold of Nate. She see him on BET. She like, oh, that's where you went? You know, I'm over this. So she decides, I'm gonna take myself out the game permanently. And that's what she did. Took herself out the game permanently. Meanwhile, Nate is up there turning up, having him a good old time at 106 in Park, ends up out there in LA with Sean. And then he's out there for 3 days before he checks his messages. And he sees his inbox is like full. Everybody's like, dude, where are you at? Kim is dead. Like she is gone. Like, what is going on? And he started listening to the messages and then he gets the Kim messages. Where are you? What's going on? I'm going to the hospital. Meet me there. Where are you at? I just found out something. Call me. What you doing on 106 in Park? Oh, so that's where you went? Okay, fine. You know what? It's over. We're done. And I'm done forever. And he's like, he basically has a whole panic attack. He's like, he can't believe that this didn't happen. He couldn't believe it. And basically Corey and Brendan is like, Nate, don't come back. Her family, they basically looking for you.
That's one of the reasons why I got a 3 for me, because I just feel like that ending for Nate, I would have rather known what happened to him when he got back to DC. That's what I would have preferred for the ending to be. I just feel like that wasn't enough. Like, I don't even feel like he would have taken it that hard. Like, I understand he got a panic attack and he can't believe this, but I don't think that's enough for me to believe that Nate is going to be a changed man. I don't think that's enough. He's just going to keep moving cities. Like, I don't know. I would have preferred for him to find out once he got back or something. I don't really care. And I guess it's worse because he got to live with it. But like I said, why she got to pass away? Why couldn't be something that happened to him? Like, I just don't feel like, I just didn't like that. It didn't, of course, it wasn't how we expected. I think I just be feeling bad for the girls because I really wish Kim didn't go out like that. I think that's what it is for me. I feel like if Kim would have cut him or something, but I guess the reason he did it this way is because it is always typical that something happens to the man. And I feel like this was also, I'm trying to give him a good lesson from it. So I think another part of it is that people don't really think cheating is that serious. People don't think that cheating is like abuse or that serious, or actually how much it actually hurts or damages people, especially with a lot of men. A lot of men think that this is just a game for women. Like, they feel like, oh, she's going to just be heartbroken. She's going to move on. It is what it is. I can keep doing this and that. But I feel like what happened to Kim kind of showed this is not a game. Like, this actually hurts people. Like, hurt people, like not just hurt somebody so much that they want to hurt you or want to take you out, but hurt somebody so much that they don't want to be here no more. That's insane. That's like something crazy that to his whatever 20 30 years or whatever living that he had never experienced. So I do think that it was different. I did not like it. I won't lie, but I get it.
And then we get down to the courthouse. And I just want to say, I don't know why he dragged this out. Because if you was paying attention, you knew who it was at the courthouse.
So I did not.
Uh, I definitely knew. I knew.
I did not, because I was in denial.
I think it's because the way he was being so vague about it. I'm like, now why are you being? If the only reason you would be being vague is if it's not Nina.
I think for me, this is the thing for me. With also how you said being vague. I think for me, I was in denial because all the stuff that happened with Nina. And then also, I think because everything kind of lined up with the plans from before, it was like, okay, everything just lined up. So I'm just like reading along. Then I read daughter, and then I was like, daughter, child's father. What are we talking about right now? Because she should have still been pregnant. Like, who are we? And then when it was Shelly, I was like, let me rewind. Let me go back. Because where did we get to Shelly? And why is this okay? Because me, I would have thought like Shelly would have just, I thought it would have been a Renee situation. Like, bro, I'm done with both of y'all. Apparently she wasn't done getting her get back.
No, because this is what it is. Remember, in that scene where she is telling him about her daughter, she said, I never stopped loving you. And honestly, the first time I read this book, when it was revealed that Shelly was who he married and not Nina, I was mad. I was like, now we just spent this whole time, you done built this relationship with Nina. Why would you get back with Shelly? Like, come on now. But reading it the second time, knowing what's coming and being able to see like all the foreshadowing, Shelly told Nina, he gonna dog you out. Corey said on multiple occasions, the shoe fits of me being a dog. I got my lady. I know who I love. And what really, really made it very clear that it was always going to be Shelly was when they first met, when he and Nina first met. And when they first got together, what did he say? He said that Nina reminded him of Shelly at the age when they were dating. It's been 3 years. He's like 28. 3 years ago, 25. How old is Nina? 25. I was like, it was always Shelly. It was always going to be Shelly. And it's like Shelly said, you only with her because I won't give you a chance. And as soon as she gave him a chance, what happened?
I thought it was a setup. I thought it was a setup. And I thought it was gonna be, see, Shelly, I told you he was a dog. I mean, see, Nina, I told you he was a dog. First chance I got to get back with him. First chance I got. He right back where I had him at. But I will say, I definitely did not feel bad for Nina, and I definitely understood, especially by the end with Shelly. Like, at no point was I mad at Shelly. I was just surprised, like, that she would have married him. I was never mad at her for anything. Like, it's like, even if, I don't care what everybody else saying, oh, well, it's been 5 years. This is not no game. This is not no little boy I talked to when I was 12 or 15. This is not no, oh, we only dated for 6 months. I was with this man for 3 years. Like he said, I told her, when she met me, she didn't know nothing. By the time she was done with me, she knew everything. No, like, this is not a game. And not only that, when Nina comes up there talking about, which I did feel bad about, but my miscarriage happens, I hadn't even miscarriage or whatever for like a month or whatever. Cause I'm like, what are you gonna do with 2 baby mamas from the same family? When she said that and all that type of stuff, and y'all wrong, when Shelly said, but you knew he was the daddy. I didn't have no sympathy for you from the beginning, but any sympathy that may have been there is gone. Because I also agree. I don't feel like he ever stopped loving her. Not just because, and I think one of the biggest testaments to that is the type of dude that Corey seems to be. It just doesn't make sense. Oh, sorry. The type of dude that Corey seems to be, it just doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense for him to treat Nina the way that he treated her. Now, Paula made sense. The other girl made sense. But Nina, how you said, the girl he's serious about, the girl he keeps saying he want to be with, it just didn't make sense. And he also didn't seem like he actually liked her, to be honest. Like, when he was complaining about her crying broke, when he was talking about how she's childish and stuff like that, like, he didn't actually seem like he actually liked her. I think that it was just that she looked like my ex-girlfriend. She cooks, she cleans, she treat me well. That's it. And I think that's another reason why I really don't like Corey. And I think that's another thing that I'm mad about, that Corey got the best ending. I really don't like him. He got the best ending. But his ending was the best. It's standard. Also, side note, Brendan got back with Trina. That's not gonna last.
Yeah, he got back with Trina.
That's not gonna last.
He got back with Trina because, as we clearly find out on the last page, that Lainey lied about everything. And you know what? This made me mad because out of all the girls, the first time I read it, I was really rooting for Lainey. I was rooting for her because it's kind of like the same way we were rooting for Nikki and Men Cry in the Dark. Like, yeah, she made some mistakes, but she can come back and pull it together. I was rooting for her. So to find out that not only did she lie, not only did she not tell him about the situation, but then when she did, she still lied. Her mom is not on drugs. Her mom is a nurse. The nephew that she's raising is actually her son that she lost custody of because she was abusing him.
And he didn't get robbed. That's what I thought was going to happen. I'm trying to get in between 3 or 4. I ain't gonna lie. I definitely, and you know what? I know something else. I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all for real. I've read quite a few books. Y'all know I've read quite a few books. If y'all don't know, I really do love like Black books and stuff like this. I've read quite a few books that are Black, like romance novels in the arena of Waiting to Exhale, of friends and lovers, of that arena. And I will say that this is the closest to a male version of Waiting to Exhale that I have ever read. This is not Waiting to Exhale at all. It's not. But I will agree that this is the closest thing to a male version of Waiting to Exhale that I have read. Like anytime when we have read a few books, me and him have read a few books together of Waiting to Exhale. Lover and Friends is not Waiting to Exhale to me. Man Crying in the Dark is definitely not Waiting to Exhale to me, okay? I've read quite a few. This is one of the few that has a male group of friends that talks about love. You get what I'm saying? Has different levels of relationships. It's really circled around there, and their friendship is really the basis of it. We only hear from the men. It might be a little piece here and there to get a little bit of perspective, but for the most part, you hear from the men. You hear from all three men. It's not like, oh, one person you hear from more than the other one. No, you hear from all three men. And I think that all three men do progress in their own way. The only person that stays the same is Robin. That's the only person. In both books, the Robin in both books start back where they finished from, but everybody else grew. All right, you guys. So that was our thoughts on Before I Let You Go. Before I Let You Go. Before I Let You Go. I'm sorry, but that was our thoughts on Before I Let Go. Great book, 10 out of 10. We'll recommend y'all go read it, okay? If you enjoyed this book swap with me and Ronald, make sure you tune and check into our playlist. If you love books and more like things like this, because y'all know I have a few different things that I do, but if you want to see more like purely book type of content, make sure y'all are going to go subscribe to Ronald if y'all have not already. He is with the books every month. He does different type of books. He's not just Black romance. He has all different genres of books that he reads, and he is really insightful. So make sure y'all check him out and check out his books as well if y'all haven't. I'll put some on the screen here because they are 10 out of 10s also would recommend. And then, you know, what's the last thing you got to do, you guys? Exactly. You got to subscribe. You could grow with your girl, so you could grow with your girl, so you could grow with your girl. Break it down, break it down, Bye, guys.
To us, yeah. So we are coming with a force, yeah. Blessings we are reaping, we coursing on.